We're going to go right into a Protoss versus Protoss on Eastwatch LE. Spotting in the top right-hand corner in the green trunks for Team Capital One, we have Samura. And taking us to the bottom left-hand corner with the Terran soundtrack in the purple trunks for Team Twitch, we have Entropy Fails. Eastwatch LE is one of the biggest maps in the ladder pool right now. You have a very large base to use. You have a natural that's easily defended. Your third base, your natural third base is going to be to the left, which is protected by some destructible rocks right here. A somewhat alternative interesting point is a fourth base actually has a gold natural expansion. So utilizing either blink stalkers or reapers or aerial units to be able to connect between both bases can be something interesting right here. But that's not what happens. Entropy Fails doing a thorough scout of his base to make sure that there's no base within your base. Samura coming up at a reasonable time for scouting. And kind of see what he's doing. The one difference that we see right here, Samura's actually getting 2 gas, staggering his gases a little bit, while our Protoss friend down here actually gets 2 gases as well, but is not putting gas in the second assimilator right there. So the longer this is going on not being used is a little bit, but we see 2 workers in that gas, and we see 6 workers in each gas. So Entropy Fails is kind of going a more kind of balanced style. Going to get a little bit more gas than you would off 1, but not quite as much gas as you would as if you had 6 workers on it, but going to be favoring minerals. Probably going to be expanding, but looks like Entropy Fails, going for 2 gates before core. It's pretty common for a stalker opening. Entropy Fails is really trying to make sure that Samura doesn't put any probes down, but the reason why Entropy is doing that is because he's not scouting. Right, he wants to make sure, he doesn't really know what's going on in his base. The only intel he knows is that Samura is looking around, and he's just trying to make sure that he's alright. Looks like we see a stalker being built immediately as that core is done. That second gateway is not being utilized. We could push out another stalker or a second adept, but it looks like it's being shielded right there. It looks like we see a pretty quick Twilight Council, so this could be a DT opening or a blink opening right here. Samura doing a robo opening right here, which robo actually does pretty well against some council openings. If you go Twilight, or if you go Dark Templar, you got observers to be able to move around the map, defend a little bit. If they go Blink Stalkers, you're going to have some Immortals to be able to take it. An overwhelming Zealots, you just got to be able to fight that as you need to. But let's see what the tech path is. Twilight Council not researching anything yet. Entropy Fails just still kind of scouting, kind of doing his thing. That's an error, right? If you're going to put this down, you need to have some sort of plan in mind in order to how to do it. And it looks like a Dark Shrine is going to be what is following up here. No expansion down here yet, but it looks like Entropy Fails is about to take it. Samura kind of playing a little bit more safe, you know, kind of walling in his base. It's going to be very difficult for units to be able to get in. Actually, the only 2 ways they can get in are by the assimilator. So Samura, not sure if he planned this or if he got an inkling or a smelling of what's going on. Usually when you get 2 gases pretty early, it is going to be some sort of shenanigans. But putting a Stalkers in the base right here, getting an Observer, and actually chrono boosting an Immortal behind it. So doing his due diligence to be able to get enough army out to be able to defend against any shenanigans going on, and get an Observer to be able to kind of do some things. Now, the only kind of exception here is this Observer is moving out on the map. So this Observer has detection, so it's able to see cloaked units, which is what Entropy Fails is actually going for with the Dark Shrine. So the very, very important thing right here is he going to build another Observer, which he's not, and will he spot any type of shenanigans time? So we're putting a proxy pylon down. Entropy Fails putting another one as well. One of the powerful things about Protoss is that with pylons you can warp anywhere on the map, build structures anywhere on the map, as opposed to Zerg that have to build things on creep. But Entropy Fails looking like taking an alternative attack path through here. We see some Stalkers and an Immortal coming out right here. Observer poking out at the natural base. We see 2 Dark Templars being warped in. They're being warped in at the proxy location right here. Kind of moving in right here. He doesn't see anything. Samura doesn't really know what type of tech structure is going on right here. We see unit counting station. There's only one observer. This could do a significant amount of damage. These Dark Templar cannot be seen by Samura right here, but we see an attack path pushing up. Samura just going to go ahead and move in right here. Observer getting shot down. A siege actually happening right here. We're going to keep an eye on this Dark Templar to see if any damage is going on. Doing a good thought of just moving in one to see what type of damage he can do. We'll keep an eye on this Dark Templar getting 4 kills, about to get 5, see if any more can actually pop up. This robotics facility is what needs to be able to power out an observer in order to hold this out right here, but this Nexus gets shot down. Where's the observer for Samura? It looks like it's urgently heading back home. One being built at home gets shut down. This Dark Templar actually owns this entire base right here, but the fact that there is an observer on the field for Samura may be able to keep him this game. Force field going down, but there's no observer with the army. So Samura is trying to see if he can do anything. Gonna go ahead and snipe these pylons, try to prevent any type of damage from happening. Samura brings the observer back home. Gonna clear out these Dark Templar that are actually being right here. Since this observer is here, they're able to be spotted now. A zealot being warped in as some sort of defense. This pylon getting focus fire down. There's no more production left for Entropy fails, but this other pylon is coming in. This Dark Templar has full reign right here, and Entropy fails going for an emergency expansion going into the natural third of our Capital One player. This Dark Templar doing significant damage, getting 10 kills. Both teams have equal workers right now, but for Entropy fails, his probes are being pulled off the line, trying to see if he can do any damage right here. These probes are retreating. They're trying to get the hell out of Dodge. There's 2 Stalkers and an Immortal left inside the base. Where did the Sentry go? The Sentry moving back home, trying to see if what he can do in order to get back to where he needs to be. The production being completely shut down for Entropy fails. Can't warp in, can't do anything else right here. These probes over here. Are we going to see another expansion actually happening right here? So this Dark Templar still here. Observer comes in, spots both these Dark Templar, are going to shut down everything that Samura is able to do. Then these units right here. There's not much for both. Entropy fails, still putting down that proxy Nexus. So a recall happening for our Protoss hero Samura, able to recall, get back home, be able to defend his base that's right here. Samura evacuating the probes all the way to the third that's over here. Able to get back. We go to the income tab. It's pretty meek for both of our players, but Entropy fails, clinging on by a thread. Hoping the fact that Samura just does not have intel that an expansion actually happened over here. We see a probe coming back in, trying to turn on his building so he can actually build an army. We see some workers being chrono boosted. So going to the unit counting station, Samura is definitely in the lead here, not only with tech, but with production as well. See some additional zealots getting warped in over here. A Stalker trying to siege or slow down Entropy fails to be able to get back into this game. Samura's definitely where it needs to be. The army count is definitely the same. Workers is about 10 ahead. The only problem that Samura really has here is that needs to get mobile observers and have a strong enough army to be able to do any type of shenanigans right here. This pylon getting shut down, but that Dark Templar is going to be able to do enough damage to be able to slow things down. This probe actually getting... What? That second shot didn't do any damage, but wall off happening right here. Going to prevent any type of army from being able to walk in here super easily. See a Sentry be able to walk that down. So Entropy fails is playing a weird game of StarCraft right now, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that he's using sentries to defend his tech side of his base, and he doesn't have anything over here except for the fact that, hey, this is his money side of his base. Samura's kind of playing just a more kind of standard style. He's going to have to expand a little bit. Going to go ahead and put down a forge, which is good for that static defense, being able to put down a cannon or two in your mineral line to be able to shoo Dark Templars away. Kind of interesting game. This is not a common game that you're going to have here in StarCraft 2, ladies and gentlemen. But it looks like that Entropy fails is expanding back at home to be able to get things going on. Now, the longer that this base is not caught onto, the more likely a chance that Entropy Fails has a chance of getting back into this game. Now, you need to be constantly making workers here. Constantly making workers here. Even queue up a little bit. Just spam those probes. Do what you need to do. But we go to the army supply, right? Really the only thing he's got are Dark Templar. A couple sentries to be able to slow things down. But not a lot of crazy stuff for Samura either. But Samura is a little bit more taken care of. He's got a couple cannons going down. So now, alright, he's got a base. He's got a base that's defended from any type of crazy shenanigans. A couple cannons to provide detection, which is the additional thing that they can do. So Samura is feeling safe to be able to move out on the map. Got a couple Immortals and a couple Stalkers before any type of shenanigans are going on. So these Dark Templar kind of padding in an odd pattern to see if any kind of army is moving around, but it is what it is. We see some additional units being warped in at the proxy pond at the top of the third. This base right here, again, just trying to get as many minerals as possible. Entropy Fails at 900 minerals. He needs to be able to get his minerals down, being able to chrono boost out many probes. Actually work on getting that. Samura checking the third, see if anything's there. We see a Dark Templar actually working on that one Stalker right there, but that Observer going to come in and kind of clean things up. We see Force Field happening, so Entropy Fails has 2 sentries right here. Have plenty of energy to be able to hold things off. Now, the downside here is that these force fields don't last very long. They last for just a little bit of time. An arrow right here, usually 1 force field can keep things going, but it looks like that is needing 2 in order to hold it off. They last for about 15 seconds, which is long enough, but... Oh! Force field not good enough. This Immortal able to get up here, going to shield or siege down one of the sentries. That sentry actually has enough energy to be able to put down some force fields. This Immortal's actually walking up here. It's like, what's up, dog? I'm in your base! What are you going to do, tickle me to death? Nope. We're going to warp in an additional Zealot to try to slow things down, but... Protoss units take additional damage while warping in, so this Zealot doesn't have much left, and uh-oh, Samura's in your base! With the entire might of his Protoss army, the 3 Immortals just sieging down that pylon. Gonna mosey in right here, do a little bit, but it looks like Entropy Fails finally starting to spend his money a little bit. Gonna put down an additional core. Gonna put down 4 gates. Hey, you know what? I know it's 12 minutes and 21 seconds of the game, but you know what? We're just gonna start over. I've got about 11 probes. We're just gonna start over. It's gonna be okay, right? This Dark Templar, Dark Shrine getting sieged down. No more Dark Templar for you, buddy. Twilight Council getting sieged down as well. The Entropy Fails saying, you know what? Never give up. Never surrender. I'm gonna set up a base just outside of your base. And we're going to siege it up. Now, here's the thing. Samura's starting to run out of minerals himself. He's going to need to expand. That's exactly what he's going to be doing right here. Entropy Fails completely sieging this base. The base down here in the bottom left doesn't exist anymore. Samura kind of looking, being like, hey, is there any other type of shenanigans going on? We see a pylon over here. So he finally knows what's going on here. Samura deciding to come home going, where the heck is he? What is going on here? Using these observers to kind of scout around the map. Going to the unit counting station. Workers are kind of equal. Samura kind of slowed down his worker count, which can kind of be dangerous, but when you're kind of in this kind of desperate low eco type of situation, when you get to this location, sometimes making probes isn't the correct answer to do, but we see some units being warped in right here. Taking a long time because that pylon just wasn't in contact with a warp gate early on, but finally warping in. When pylons are not within a warp gate as it's set up, units take longer to warp in. If I was Entropy Fails, I'd work on this rock tower to be able to slow down an attack path from here. Samura on the prowl. He's like, something is not right here. There's a base somewhere. He's checking it with an additional Zell. He's like, hey, what's going on here? We're going to see it in just a hot second. And sure enough, units being warped in. And hey! That's my third base. Some additional cannons being warped in for Samura up in his base right here, but we're just going to keep an eye on this developing action that's going on right here. Some force fields going down. Actually, just one. It's going to slow down the attack path right here. Working down on these rocks. May be able to buy Entropy Fails a little bit more time, but just with 4 warp gates, it's not going to be quite enough. This unit actually taking significant damage, doesn't do anything, and Samura takes the game in the series. So thank you all for tuning in for some StarCraft 2 action. Until next time.